Welcome back again to Spotlight, where we feature the University of Central Arkansas's College of Fine Arts and Communication. I'm Donna Lampkin-Stevens. Today we're going to talk about the annual Day of Giving, and joining me are Haley Fowler, a CFAC alum,
Yes.
and Director of Annual Giving for the UCA Foundation.
Yes, ma'am.
And Gunnar Bartlett, another CFAC alum, who is the Director of Development for the College of Fine Arts and Communication at the moment, and then we will expand to the new college after July 1st. Yes. But today we're talking CFAC. So, what is Day of Giving?
Well, Day of Giving, we're going into our 6th year for Day of Giving. It is a 24-hour fundraising campaign where it's just raising funds for a short amount of time to make a big impact amongst all the funds that we have within the foundation.
And there are hundreds.
Hundreds of funds.
Yeah.
Yes, but we really highlight on Day of Giving 65 funds that have an impact across every college, unit, program within UCA. But yes, we have over hundreds of funds that you can give to.
So Haley, give us a little background. I mean, I think Day of Giving started sort of, you know, we didn't know how much we could raise, and then it really took off.
Took off, yes. In 2015, we wanted to, it kind of became a national trend where a lot of universities were starting to do Day of Givings. And so I had gone to a conference and I had really learned about what a Day of Giving entails. It's a lot of work on the back end. So you have to really give yourself enough time to prepare for a true Day of Giving. So what we did is we decided let's try and raise money for one fund, which was the annual fund.
Okay. That
is the greatest impact across campus, area of greatest need, campus-wide. And so we thought, well, let's try for the annual fund, see how we do. The first year, our goal was 11,764, which was the number of students we had at UCA.
Okay.
So, you know, this was a really new concept. A lot of universities hadn't even tried it. We were one of the first couple in the state to have tried it. And so we did that for 3 years, raising money just strictly for the annual fund. And then in 2000.
So how much did we raise to start with?
We raised $30,000 the first year, a little
Three
over
times what you had expected.
Yep.
Okay.
It was really eye-opening. We had raised a little over $35,000 the second year, and just a little over $40,000 the third year. So as we were going into our 4th year of Day of Giving, we had a goal of $50,000.
Okay.
And that was the year that we opened up to all funds. Yep. And when I say all funds, you can give to any fund that we have within the foundation, but we really featured 45 funds that year across campus, really just making sure every college unit was spotlighted on our Day of Giving website. And that year just blew us out of the water. We raised $434,000. Yes, it was very eye-opening. It was exciting. It was just a wonderful feeling to see how much our donors, our alumni, our students backed UCA and supported it and made a big impact in a big way.
So why do y'all think we took off like that? I mean, it was very successful to start with based on our goals. And then it just got bigger, and then suddenly it just popped. What happened?
You know, it's like in development. People want to be a part of something. People want to be a part of a movement. People want to be a part of an initiative or a project. And so the second you start to really brand something and you do a really good job with a targeted effort, and alumni see it, supporters in the community see it, if 50,000 people come up with $500 or less, I mean, that's a lot of money. Not saying we've ever had that much support, but if you start to really spread it out to where it could be even more than that are just giving $1, that really hits home. And most people can do more than $1, you know. And so I think it was because we started to really focus on this one day, saying we're trying to hit this goal, we're trying to make impact on this one day, and people got involved. And last year we really started to gamify it. I know Haley can really talk about that, and this year we're doing a very similar thing.
So we had $435,000 in 2008?
2018. I'm sorry, 2018.
2018.
And then in 2019,
we set our goal of what?
$435,000.
We wanted to match it.
So I always want to match it. Yes, I always want to match it.
You're very conservative with your goals, which is good. Yeah.
Because you kind of have to be when it comes to doing a social media push and word of mouth and stuff. So and we really like to see our donors increase. So every year. Over the last 5 years, the number of donors that have given has increased.
Do you have those numbers?
Last year we had around a little over 1,300 donors give. The year prior to that we had over 1,100 donors give.
Okay.
So every year it has really
Do
grown.
you set a goal for number of donors as well?
We just like to increase it.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's
so
what matters.
everybody,
Yeah.
we want everybody to give.
Yes,
so.
For sure.
Yes, and just making a $5 donation or a $1,000 donation, it impacts our day of giving, and it impacts like our overall goal and our donors,
Yep.
and it really just shows how much the UCA community can impact our campus, because all those $5 donations really add up.
Absolutely.
And
So
going
don't
back-
think if you can't make a six-figure
No,
No, yeah.
donation
Sure.
or a
Yeah.
four-figure donation.
Yeah.
Anything
Yes.
helps.
Yes, anything helps. And going back to kind of what Gunnar had said, I think a lot of people really like Day of Givings because, one, it raises awareness, but two, it allows our alumni and our students to really show their affinity. So our theme for Day of Giving is take your pick. So we want you to be able to take your pick, whether it's to your college, it's whether it's to a program that you're involved with, athletics, Purple Circle. If you're a Greek, give back to your Greek organization. So we really want you to take your pick, show your affinity that you had and your wonderful memories that you had. And I think that's really is what has helped make Day of Giving so successful.
Okay, so what is our goal for this year? Oh, well, wait. What did we? So last year we raised how much?
$757.
So you went from
$757 and $1.
$435
You
to
know.
$757. Wow.
So
Yes.
it's to make $1 above last year. You know, that's where we're
Okay.
at.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think last year too, our Greeks showed up
Yeah.
big time. Our Greek giving had increased drastically with Greek Village going on, and that was really fun to get to see because that just gave a day for them to really a platform. It gave our Greek chapters a platform to really push out to their alumni to give back.
And it becomes a competition. I mean, I will tell you that we set a goal in the School of Communication last year, and about 10 o'clock that night, we were not quite there, and I thought, by golly, I'm going to be the one to put us over the top.
There you go,
so
yeah.
I contributed again
Yeah.
so that I could get us over, and I was
Yeah.
like, we're doing pretty well compared to these other funds on the list. So
Well,
there's a lot
that's-
of competition.
And
Yeah.
that's what I was saying about how we gamify it to where we do show the progress of each fund on Day of Giving. You know, that opens up, you know, and then it'll close at the end of the day. But for people to see that, have a healthy competition, but also something that was really cool we did last year was, you know, we did a fill the map thing where
Love
we
that.
tried to target donors in every state, every territory. And, you know, I think this year we've actually opened up to a nationwide map.
So how many states and territories did we get last year?
We got 48.
But we couldn't land Puerto Rico, so
Puerto Rico. Who else was missing?
I want to Wisconsin,
Yeah, something like that.
some of the northern states.
But
Okay.
you know, it was really shocking to see that map fill up and just like, wow, we really do have an alum in every
Yeah,
state,
yeah.
you know, nearly. And this year, you know, because we've opened it up to our international students and their families,
Oh, that's
you know,
a
we
good
really
idea.
hope to see a lot of our, you know, in the Ivory Coast and our partners in those regions that can help fill that portion of the nationwide map.
Worldwide.
So, yeah,
Worldwide
map.
map.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, so let's talk a little bit about the funds.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are I mean, really, you can give to anything.
Of course.
And the website is there. But let's talk about CFAC. Gunnar, you've been in charge of sort of figuring out.
Yeah, working with Dean Williams, the acting dean of
Mm-hmm.
CFAC, we kind of met with all the chairs and really kind of tried to find a fund that would target and really work well for each department. So the art department's going to do Friends of Art, and the music's going to do Friends of Music.
Okay.
The School of Communication is just going to do the School of Communication General
Mm-hmm.
Fund. Film, theater, and creative writing, because those are really three targeted areas in one department. Shauna Metter, the chair of that department, has decided that we're going to highlight one aspect each year and rotate it. So I believe this year it's theater.
Okay.
And then we also have two very special projects that, you know, I really partnered with Gail Seymour on, and then my boss, the AVP for Development, Mary Lackey. We are going to have, of course, the Wingate Center, you know, like,
Because we're still raising money for
oh,
that.
we'll be
Yeah.
raising money for that till, you know,
Yeah.
we get the keys to the building.
Yeah.
So, you know, so we want to make sure that that is open to people to give. You know, my job is soliciting major gifts for that building, but there are the people, like myself included, that can say, you know, I can't do $25,000, but I can do $500 to $1,000 for that building, and I want to give it on Day of Giving to make impact.
Great.
You know,
Great.
and so there's that aspect that we have on there, and then we are also working with Gail Seymour, the associate dean, on the Suffrage Centennial Fund. Gail is all about these big projects that bring everybody together, and she does a phenomenal job at these things. And this year, she is wanting to do a whole project centered around the centennial celebration of the suffrage movement, where the passing of the 19th Amendment that gave women the right to vote, and I say women very loosely, white women.
Yeah. Some women.
Some women, exactly, but a step in the right direction nonetheless.
Absolutely.
And so she's working on a big project with, a lot of different elements, including music, art, history, theater. Like it's going to be all inclusive, and big projects like that take money.
Sure.
And a big project like this speaks to a lot of different people, I think. And so we wanted to absolutely make sure this was on Day of Giving so people could give to it.
Okay. So the individual department funds, like school communication, we have that fund so that we can support student travel
Yeah.
to conferences and things like that. It's just it's a nice way to have this little pot of money for things that don't get funded otherwise. Tell me about the other funds, like Friends of Art. What are they?
So I know that Friends of Art and Friends of Music are, pretty much shared discretionary funds, and it allows them to make impact in their department as they see fit. I know with music more specifically, because that's where my background is, they use it for the same thing: conference travel, faculty research, things like that. Or, sometimes where a piano bench has broken, we need to order one of those, or we need a new cover or something. It's really just discretionary fund that helps the department make it from one fiscal year to the next. I know
That's a good
this.
way to describe it.
Yeah, it is, because as you know, the reality in state education is as state dollars go down, that has to be made up with something, because people don't want to relinquish their budgets.
Right.
You know, so we have to make sure that private dollars are coming into the institution, and that's incredibly important. And so that's why days like this day and highlighting funds like that are very, very important to the institution.
So there are 6 funds for CFAC
Yes.
that are featured,
Yes.
feature funds, but you can also give to any other fund within CFAC. For example, in the School of Communication, we have the Communication Program Fund, Journalism Program Fund, Public Relations Program Fund, First Year Writing Fund, Writing Program Fund, and Principles of Communication Fund. I think I named them all. And these go to the individual programs, for example, for what those programs need. So that's also an important part. What about some other funds within the college? Not the scholarships. Let's just talk about some other.
I think it's very true, amongst any of the, departments that, I think with School of Communication, there are definitely different facets, with music, for instance, there's obviously the Steinway Fund, because we're still in the middle of a Steinway initiative. There is a fund that will go strictly to the marching band or directly to the band program itself. That'll go to the orchestra or the opera scenes program. I think it's very diverse in which area, you're looking into, especially with film, theater, creative writing. There's, of course, going to be a creative writing general fund. There's going to be a filmmaking fund. So I think that if you were to dive into each different department, you'll see that it gets very specific. And that's not even just including scholarships. There's obviously a vast amount of scholarships, but within each department, there's also going to be a variety of funds that help you specifically, or maybe where's your affinity as an alumnus. For me, I was like, well, I was in marching band and I was in orchestra. So if I'm ideally going to give to a targeted area, it's going to be one of those two things, because that made an impact on me as a student.
Or both, because you can split your
You can
take
split,
your picks.
yeah. She's
So
the
talk
expert
about
on
the
that.
take your pick.
So that's our overall theme, is take your pick. We really want to make it accessible for everyone to be able to give. And it goes back to kind of what Gunnar said. You have affinity in all different areas. And so our online donation form makes it really easy for you to be able to click, go find your funds that you want to give to, and then you can split your gift amongst all those different funds. And so it's just a fun way to give back to a program, a college, or an organization that impacted you directly. And so those are what we push out on Day of Giving.
And while the individual targeted funds have goals, and what are they, Gunnar?
Well, they
typically?
actually haven't been communicated to me. I know that I tried to take a step back on that from this year and let them really handle it with Haley, because Haley's coming back to this position as Director of Annual Giving from being in what I did as a DOD for Student Services. So, I really wanted her to have the ability to, help establish those relationships with those ambassadors and, kind of cooperate with them on setting their goals. But I know that last year, I'm pretty sure every department achieved theirs.
And I think we set I didn't know what to do
Yeah.
last year, so we just set $1,000.
Yeah, and I think a lot of them were around
Reasonable
there because
goal.
I told it was my first year in this position,
Yeah.
so I told them, hey, let's always aim for success. If that means setting a low goal and we achieve it, then that's success in my mind. So I think that we're kind of operating with that same kind of mentality where set attainable goals, achieve it, exceed it, and then next year you move it up by 10% or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
So
And
School of Communication has increased to 1,200. That's
Exactly,
that's our
yeah.
goal. Now, if you do give to the journalism program or the communication program fund, that won't count toward our goal, but it will count toward the overall Day of Giving numbers, right?
Absolutely.
It'll count towards your college goal.
Yeah.
The money that that your college raised.
Yeah.
But one thing that we're doing this year for part of the gamification is a leaders board. And so if you go out there to Day of Giving, you'll be able to see all the different colleges. Each one has their own fund box, and then under the fund lists all of the different department funds, like he had just talked
The
about.
highlighted funds.
The highlighted ones. So
Okay.
throughout the day, you'll see a dollar sign will come on that morning, and you'll be able to see what each department has raised throughout the day. And the highest, it ranks in order from highest to lowest. And so everyone's funds move around throughout the day as those donations come in.
Peer pressure. We
Peer
don't want to be
pressure.
on the bottom.
Yeah. So well,
It's
and
healthy.
it
It's
is
healthy.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure,
It
sure,
makes
sure.
it more. It makes it fun.
It is
and
fun.
and it really helps drive some of that content. It helps really drive that excitement and motivation as you are pushing out communication through your social media channels. Day of Giving is strictly through social media, email, and word of mouth. And so, so it really just kind of gives you a story to tell. Last year, the Honors College, they were just so close to hitting their goal, and Dean Smith was just pushing out, like we're almost there.
On her
we're almost
own
there."
personal
Yeah.
On
social
her
media.
own personal, just as the dean, but she was also pushing it out on the Honors College
Okay.
social media channel. And those alums really stepped up and heard the call, and they gave and they exceeded their goal. But it was just as an ambassador for your college. As long as you're telling your alumni, like me, if I knew that y'all were short, we're almost to our goal, we're just short $100 as an alumni, well then I will, we'll see that need and we'll hope to fulfill it. They won't know until we tell them.
Yeah.
And so
That's
the more
right,
that you
that's
reach out and you communicate with your alumni, that's the only way to really get them, plugged back in to the university.
So let's talk about our target. I mean, obviously it's alumni, it's faculty, staff.
So
We'll talk about who we're trying to get money from.
well, it's not just money too. Remember, it's support. It's
Absolutely,
support in
because
general.
that's the way to
exactly.
plug back in.
Of course, faculty, staff, of course, alumni, but what we always refer to as stakeholders, external constituents, people that did not set foot on this campus as a student, but have moved here because of a job or have moved here because of family, and they support the mission of the institution.
They maybe come to a football game or a play.
That's very possible.
Or
Traveling,
something at
yeah.
Reynolds.
We
Yes.
call them friends.
Yeah,
So-
friends of the institution. And
Friends.
so those people are just as important, because they didn't have that personal relationship with here and they fell in love with UCA because of what we do here and they want to support it. So that's a whole classification of itself, and something that I'm proud of whenever we see those numbers each year is students. It's something, it says something about the culture of your institution when students, already paying tuition, already paying room and board, already paying all the fees to go to school here, but still see it as like, what, I can sacrifice that cup of coffee. I can sacrifice that, chicken sandwich. Here's $5 to go to this. Because that starts to, cultivate a, mentality, a culture of philanthropy in our students who will then become alumni, who will, because they went to UCA, will become successful in their field and experts in their field where they will be making, a decent living to where they can then think back on their time fondly and be like, I want students to have the same experience I did. And they give back then in a major way.
Right.
You know.
So we're growing it.
So we're
growing.
yeah, that's what a day of giving with students starts what we like to call the donor cycle, where they're able to get in on that level. Then they become an alumnus and they join the alumni association because that's something that is attainable at that time because it is so inexpensive to do, and it still involves you in events. They come back to football games, things that you think are important and that you want to be involved with, and then they move into that part where they might make a annual gift for something like Day of Giving that's a little bit larger, and then that you move into the major gift cycle. It's it's something that we try to start at this age. We really try to get them, get them like bought into, because it's incredibly important to what we do in philanthropy and keeping this institution moving forward.
So what are some ways that students can get involved now or for this year's Day of Giving?
So SGA has been so great to work with every year. They have partnered with us all 6 years. They normally do a donation station outside of the Student Center. They're going to do that again this year. It's a celebration event. They have T-shirts that they'll be giving out. So if you
For donors.
For donors. So if a student walks up and they make a donation, whether it's like cash, bucket, or they show up their confirmation email because they gave online, they'll just show the SGA representatives and they get a bucket list T-shirt. They have some other swag out there. They have some food. So that's just a way to have a centralized donation station set up for that day.
And that will be from when, all day?
All day, it'll be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. out front. If it's raining, it'll be inside in the lobby. And then there are different, throughout the colleges and departments, several of their student organizations are doing things. For example, like over in College of Education, their ambassadors typically set up a table just to educate and inform everyone as they walk in the doors about Day of Giving. The PT student organization, they do things that day within their department. So it's really a way for the departments to be hands-on and just educating all their students about it.
So, so if a student wants to, so if they give at the Student Center in cash, that's going to the
Emergency Student Scholarship Fund. SGA is doing a challenge match this year. They have always done a challenge match, and this year they increased it to $2,000. So the first $2,000 that the students donate to any fund that we have within the foundation, SGA will match $2,000, and that will go into the Emergency Student Scholarship Fund.
Great. So what about the website? We have a special website for Day of Giving.
We do. We really try and drive all of our donations online, and it's at uca.edu/Day of Giving.
Okay.
And that is where you will find all of our funds listed within the foundation. There's even an other box that if you can't find it, you can type it in. And so that's really where we try and drive everyone to. All of our social media channels, our emails are driving everyone to that website. You obviously can give in person at Buffalo Alumni Hall.
I mean, cash,
Yeah,
check?
you can bring cash,
always,
check,
yeah.
credit card. You can call in with your credit card
Okay.
over to Buffalo Alumni Hall, but really our online donation forms are really what is primarily used.
And that's easier to calculate and see who's leading and that kind of thing.
Yes, so anyone that calls in or walks in with cash, we manually will import those.
Okay.
So it's live.
Okay. So what should we be doing now to get ready for, we haven't said when it is. So when is Day of Giving?
March
Hilarious.
the 5th. March the 5th.
Okay.
It is a week from Thursday.
Okay.
So it starts 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m.
Yep.
And mark it on your calendar.
Okay.
March 5th.
So what should we be doing now to prepare? Just talking, I mean, what we're doing now?
Budgeting your gift. That's what you need to be doing.
Really talking about it, really
Okay.
raising the awareness about it, getting everyone excited about it. Because whether you give, $25 that day, you're a part of the big impact that day.
And we have
so
I gave stickers?
I gave stickers, yes, just like I voted. I gave
Okay.
stickers. So we will distribute those around campus, paint posters, and really just rally your faculty, staff, students, alumni to really support and show up on March 5th.
One thing that I really want to do in the School of Communication is try to get 100% participation by the faculty. I hope that we can get there. So what are some other goals that some other departments or programs are coming up with?
Yeah.
And is that a reasonable goal, or should it be 80%?
I think it's reasonable. I mean, if you depending on how many faculty you have, if every faculty just gives $1, I mean, quite literally,
Yeah.
that is $5, whatever it is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very
Just
it's
to be a
so
part of it.
simple. It is. It truly is. I know Advancement really strives for that. I mean, we're the fundraising arm of the institution, and if 100% of Advancement doesn't give to Day of Giving, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And so we strive for that and we achieve it. So.
And I think annual giving at UCA is so important because that's our bread and butter. That is it's our greatest need. I guess annual giving impacts our areas of greatest need.
Okay.
Money in, money out to fix, like you said, that broken piano bench.
Yeah.
And so that, to me, annual giving every year is so important. Whether it's through payroll deduction, on Day of Giving, you can even fill out a payroll deduction it comes out, for a year or two. And I just think more than anything, it just lets everyone's donations just come together and make an impact, throughout the year. And with whether it's to all the students, the departments, it just all, tells a really good story and impacts.
Okay, on March the 5th, Day of Giving, how are we going to know all the results?
So what we will do is we actually do not tally everything until the next morning.
Because it goes until midnight.
It goes until midnight.
Okay.
And so we come in the next morning, and we are going to this year have a celebration announcement where we are going to meet in front of the amphitheater on March the 6th, the day after. And at between 11 and 12:30, we're going to have a cookout, free food for the first 250 people. And during that event, we are going to announce the totals of what we have raised.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, because it's a big celebration. Everyone needs to celebrate because it wouldn't be successful without everyone's help. So.
And we've sort of gotten into it the last couple of years since we, it's good to be a part of something like this. So Gunnar, what else is upcoming in development?
The biggest thing that we've got coming up next is, of course, Laurels and Stripes. That's on April 4th.
We got our invitation yesterday.
Oh, well, wonderful.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear those are going out,
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, Laurel Stripes is it's the rebranded Night of Distinction for UCA. And its focus is student scholarship. What can we do to raise, the endowment? What can we do to get more money in the hands of students so they can attain that degree? And so, it's the biggest party in Conway, and I don't say that lightly because it is. Last year there were 600 something people there, full course meal, and, along with the scholarship reception part. And then, until midnight, we were partying with Memphis Soul Review on stage, which is a phenomenal band. And it was a great time had by all, and, all people of the community. Tickets are going fast. Tables are selling very fast. So if you intend to go, make sure you get your tickets now, and it's well worth it, in my opinion, just to be around these people that really care about UCA.
And we're doing great work around here. And so, it takes money.
Yeah, it does.
It takes support. So we encourage everybody to get involved and participate in Day of Giving and Laurels and Stripes and be part of the Bear Party. And I can't thank you two enough for coming on with me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be back again next time for Spotlight.